What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of talking to a pupil of Santino Brothers. She is a rising star coming up through MPW in the Valley area of the greater Los Angeles area. She's making towns. She is Mylo. Mylo, what's going on?
Hi, not much. How are you doing?
Doing great, doing great. Glad to have you here. This is and shout out to Adnan Qureshi, the good brother there. I'm so proud of that guy because I want to say like we did a podcast at a diner in the Citadel
Oh,
outlet mall, right?
okay. Yes.
I want to say it was like a Ruby's diner and what have you, and he wasn't. He kind of had inclinations of where he wanted to go with his ring announcing and
Hmm.
managing and what have you, and to see that guy now and what he's done, um, everywhere from Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, the New Japan, United Wrestling Network. He's just everywhere. I just, yeah, man, he's
He's
awesome.
doing great things. I'm so proud of him. My little
Absolutely.
Adnan's growing up.
Man. But I mean, pro wrestling is a there's easier ways to make money than getting slammed and making towns and maybe low pay from a promoter, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, what was it that drew you into the world of pro wrestling?
So I'm just going to answer this probably like everyone else. So this will probably not be news to anyone, but I watched it as a kid. Wow, what? I actually watched with my mom. Funny story. I started watching it with my mom, and then I remember like watching the divas at the time, being like, "Oh my gosh, I want to do that." But at the time, the divas weren't what women's wrestling is now. It was so different. So it's really funny how even though coming into the era of what women's wrestling is now, it's still something I figured, nah, I still want to do this. Um, yeah. I actually grew up with like hanging out with boys. So we would play the wrestling video games, create your character, whatever. And I was just like, man, this would be so cool to do. And then I moved to California in 2016 from Virginia.
Wow.
And I was like, all right, what am I going to do in my life? I graduated with my associate's degree. And then I was just like, man, Virginia is nothing for me.
Mm.
So I packed up my trunk and I drove to California. And um, I was like, man, I really need to figure out something to do. But I figured I'd move to California. I might as well make it big. So I actually fell off from wrestling like middle school and high school. Didn't really watch it. I know, so weird. But I ended up picking up Total Divas. And then I was watching an episode where Eva Marie was training. She was like, so I'm going to an LA dojo to train, I'm getting in my training. And I was like, hold on. I live close to LA. So I Googled, and then that's how I came across Santino Brothers. And then I I never did anything. I would go on the website, look at it, and then I'd exit out. And then this would be a month's thing. Like I would just keep looking at it and being like, should I do it? Should I do it? Should I do it? And I don't know. Nah, I'm not gonna do it. And then so in the summer of 2017, I ended up getting in a really bad car accident, and it was pretty scary. Um, and I just remember being like, man, if I would have passed away, like would I have what would I have done,
Right.
Like what would I have to show for it? So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go to Santino's. So lo and behold, like I would say about 2 to 3 months later, because I was hurting.
Yeah.
But signed up, and it's been history since then. I started training in September of 2017 there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's that's pretty amazing. But I mean, it's fun to think about, and obviously not fun to go through. Right, a horrific car crash is
Yeah.
taxing on the body, the mind. Your
Oh,
mind is different, right? Yeah, it just happens, right? But that ends up being the catalyst to kind of push you in a direction that you probably it would have been unearthed otherwise,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Like and
Hmm.
really challenge yourself and almost to, to be that girl that played the video games with the boys in the neighborhood, the girl that
Hmm.
watched wrestling with your mom, and obviously moving away. That probably, you know, in terms of the relationship with the mom, like long distance from one seaboard to the other, right? But
Yep.
it's a way to almost connect with her in a different way now that you are literally taking a part of what you guys enjoyed together.
Exactly. It's funny because if you go on the Santino's videos, she's like under all of the comments, just like, I love my daughter so much, my beautiful daughter. It's just so funny. So full circle moments, man. Like it's crazy. Uh yeah. What was good about the car accident though, I will say, is I was going to a chiropractor 3 times a week. So even when I was training, being a beginner and intermediate, I was going to a chiropractor. And I think that really saved me. It
Yeah.
actually helped tremendously. So it was a blessing in disguise, I will say.
No, 100%. And Mick Mac, one of our friends from Australia, who came to us by way of Eric Bischoff's podcast,
Yeah.
he says hi.
Oh, hello, Mick Mac. Almost like me, the Mac Daddy. I love
And
that.
I love it, right? Right. The connections. It's the return of the Mac. There you go. Right?
There it
There
is.
it is. There it is. But it's I love that you mentioned that because of a generation, maybe a previous generation or two, right? The wellness aspect of being an athlete, right? Being
Hmm.
able to be a professional wrestler and wrestle, it was looked at as amazing that you could go from, Harley Race and Ric Flair have the, uh, those stories about wrestling in two different places on the same day. I mean,
Hmm.
Japan and then
Hmm.
getting the day back and then wrestling, in the States somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But you don't hear about the wellness, right? You don't, and obviously, you know, Ric Flair's an anomaly. The fact that he's able, with all the things that he went through health wise, a crash in his own right, plane crash that changed the way that he did bumps, right?
Hmm.
To
Hmm.
everything that he's done, the health scare that he had a couple years ago, and back and better than ever. But then
Hmm.
Harley Race, when I saw him back in 2011 at an autograph signing, um, he was in a wheelchair, right?
Oh
So,
man, yeah.
and you kind of think like, oh, not to say that Harley Race would have done yoga, that would be a funny one, but like, what could a lot of those guys and girls, the Mildred Burks and the literal Hall of Famers of yesterday, had
Hmm.
taken care of themselves a lot more than they did, would they have a better quality of life now?
That's a good question. I mean, I feel like everyone's totally different. I will say I should be doing things that I used to do when I first started training, but I don't. You know, I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to throw it out there. I don't do that, but I should because, I want to like have the longevity in my career. Like, I want it to flourish. So, I mean, I feel like it's definitely good to take care of your body. And diet is a big thing. You
Mhm.
wouldn't think diet would be such a huge factor, but it is. And I think that anything to prevent long term is key, especially in this career. So,
No, 1,000%. And it's it took a negative connotation like a car crash to kind of put you in that mindset,
oh,
but
yeah.
it is something that at least exists. It's not like
Hmm.
you drive by a chiropractic and not an office and not know what it is.
Hmm.
Like you at least know. So I think it's a cool catalyst, and I believe the last couple GCW shows that I went to,
Hmm.
where they actually had a chiropractor, and a massage
Oh, yeah.
therapist hooking,
That's nice.
all those guys and girls up. Which
Yeah,
again, I think that's an amazing difference, right? Because obviously
definitely.
we love wrestling of our youth, right? The ones who, those of us who grew up with it, right? But
Hmm.
could there be, there are a lot of underlying things that were happening. I mean, Dark Side of the Ring is a thing, right? They've done
Hmm.
4 seasons of the not so nice of things that
Yeah.
happen, of the things that I mean, the people and the the events that we hold so dear,
Hmm.
because we watched it as a youth, but might have not been so great for the performer themselves.
For sure. But it makes good TV, huh?
Kind of does.
That's showbiz, baby.
Don't prove Vince Russo
I'm
right,
just joking.
Milo,
I'm
because we're
just
gonna have
joking.
we're gonna have like something on a pole matches everywhere. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Man.
So as you were coming up, obviously watch with your mom,
Hmm.
influenced by the divas. But did you have any favorites?
Oh, did I have any favorites? You know what? And I'm going to say an answer that I feel like not too many people say. My all time favorite diva was Tori Wilson.
Wow.
Yes. It's funny when I used to like play the video games, like I would play with my friends, multiplayer. You would type you remember for the PlayStation 2 how you had to put in the multiplayer like
Yeah.
tab to like
Hmm.
plug in more. Okay. So we would do like fatal four ways and stuff. And my friends would try and have the audacity to pick Tori Wilson. I would get up and I would unplug the PlayStation and be like, I'm Tori Wilson. You're not Tori Wilson. I'm Tori Wilson. Are you kidding me? I thought we agreed. I thought you guys knew. I thought we were all on the same page that I'm
Hmm.
her. So, yeah, that was my favorite.
Yeah.
It was the confidence. I think she was just so beautiful how she portrayed herself. She was literally just like, whenever she was on my screen, I was just eyes glued.
Hmm.
And I'll watch the matches now being a wrestler, and I'm like, oh man,
Yeah.
oh man.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's why she may not be people's first choice, but like I still to this day will say she's my favorite women's wrestler. I loved Tori Wilson.
Well, and there's a generation of both female and male, and even
Hmm.
people who subscribe to the LGBT community that
Hmm.
were influenced by Total Divas. That's what got them
Oh
into
yeah,
wrestling, not the
yeah.
Attitude Era, not the rock and wrestling of the 1980s. It
Hmm.
was or the territory system of any time pre 80s. No, it
Hmm.
was Total Divas on E. Right after the
Hmm.
Kardashians, they turned on Total Divas and saw the Bellas, and
Hmm.
and to me, most people are like, oh, they shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, or my favorite wrestler's not in the Hall of
What?
Fame. But they did as much to
They did
proliferate
so
the
much.
view
Yeah.
and perception of
Yeah.
pro wrestling to people that weren't wrestling fans
Yeah.
than anybody else in history.
For sure. I agree 100%. The Bellas are definitely up there on my list too. And I will never understand the slander that they get. I will never understand it. I think that they are amazing female wrestlers. And with wrestling also, it's not even just about the moves, it's about how you carry yourself. And I
Right.
think Nikki and Brie did just great jobs in all their storylines. And I love
Yeah.
them. I could go on forever.
No, absolutely. And talking about Return of the Mac, Mac says McDonald's.
Oh my god. I
Dun,
could
dun, dun.
totally go for like a Big Mac with like four-piece nuggets and McFlurry, for sure. Love
Yeah,
McDonald's.
100%. And in terms of the PlayStation, yeah, Mac says his 8 megabyte memory card was $100. I
Wow.
remember that. Oh, but
Yeah.
my shit was the WCW versus the World video game, and I
Okay.
had to have a memory card. Otherwise, like
Yeah.
me, and it was weird because there was like New Japan wrestlers without actually saying New Japan,
Hmm.
like, and if I didn't have that memory card, I'd have to start all over, man. That 4 to 8 or a megabyte memory card was life, hundred
Oh
percent
my gosh. Man, this is just bringing back memories. I didn't know
memories.
we were taking down a trip down memory lane.
I think that's it. Which and speaking of trips, McMack wants to know what about Tori Wilson's
Favorite
dad?
feud. My favorite feud ever. Oh my gosh. That was like I feel like the most she was like really on my TV and like actually in a um like a specific storyline. I'll never forget that.
No,
The wedding.
yeah,
Oh man.
Oh,
That
and
was a
guess
great
what?
feud.
We've got some stars because none other than the good brother Jack Farmer says, "Shout out according to Woods, shout out Mylo." Like
What a
literally,
guy.
he is one of the best. Like sometimes I will fill in for him with Flobo Boys on the Draped in Gold podcast,
Okay.
NXT review podcast, and I those are I I don't think there's ever been. And my dad wore size 15 shoes, and I
Hmm.
don't think even with my dad's 15 shoes, I would fill the shoes of one Jack Farmer. He is
Uh-huh.
irreplaceable.
He's
He will tell you that too.
really freaking good.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
he'll tell you that
amazing.
too.
Oh yeah. Yes, he will. I've
Yes,
met him a few times and so kind, genuine human. So
he
shout
is.
out to you, Jack Farmer. We're gonna
Yes,
make this about you now.
that. Oh, he would love that. He would love that. And Mick Mac says we call McDonald's macacas.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I guess the Big Mac and the McFlurries doesn't equate to Mick Mac's digestive system very well, apparently.
I I actually call one of my moves a Big Mac. That's funny. It's a bulldog from the corner. Man, I love all these Mac references today. This is great.
Oh, oh, here you go. If you let's just say you have a group, an affiliation
Okay.
of people that were vegan, right? And that
Okay.
were health conscious wrestlers, right?
They're not my friends, right? Because I
I
don't
mean,
have vegan friends.
okay.
I'm just joking.
Well, I mean, hey, kiss fizz, right? But theoretically speaking, right?
Hmm.
You could call that group, that faction, the macrobiotics.
Oh, okay.
Just
That's
say,
a good one.
there we go.
All
There we go.
right.
That's the straight out of the according to Woods boxing gimmicks there.
We
So
can make that a thing,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
and you'd be the one to
I
do
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could go vegan though. I don't know
No,
if I could do that.
I don't think you have to be to have a microbiotic diet. I don't think you have to be vegan,
Okay.
but like if maybe if you smother your Big Mac in Brussels sprouts, that's what I.
Mm,
That's very macrobiotic. I want to say.
that doesn't sound bad.
Okay. See, there you go. There you go. There you go. And you guys are too kind. No, Jack, this is a complete. I don't think it's even a complete assimilation for everything that you've done in your career for the wrestling business, for the wrestling community. We love you, dude. You're the best.
You are great, Jack.
Yeah.
You're
Uh,
you're great. Don't ever change.
no, 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 not at all. So obviously, you were talking about Tori Wilson, right? And
Mhm,
there are a lot of people. I mean, literal world champions that came into pro wrestling because of the Ultimate Warrior. So
mhm.
don't feel bad. Don't feel bad if your favorite wrestler wasn't the most technically gifted member of the roster at any given time, because
Mhm,
sometimes you, if you have the it factor, and that's the thing, whether it be a Tori Wilson or Don Marie, a Francine, uh,
mhm,
Stacy Keebler, right?
mhm,
They
mhm.
had it factors. You didn't have
I
to,
did.
they made themselves into household names with the vehicle of pro wrestling, right?
Mhm,
But the, I mean, what is a better feat, right? To know nothing of the product and what have you, and to ascend to heights that people that have been training 5, 10, 15 years to do
mhm,
and opportunities to get. And do you begrudge your situation because you're the it that people want
mhm,
versus somebody that might not have it but that toils the indie circuit or what have you for
mhm.
eons and eons and never get that shot. So you kind of have to weigh it out.
For sure. And like I said with Tori, it was just like her confidence and like I couldn't find a match where like she goes to ring and she just looks like flustered. I couldn't like she just always looks like, you know what, I'm gonna go out there, give it my all, and I'm gonna just do it. Like I loved that. And ugh, love her.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of that confidence, you can't teach the presence, right? And that's a lot of,
Hmm.
if you go to a good or great wrestling school
Hmm.
almost screw the moves. It's the psychology. It's where
Definitely.
guys and girls who might be in the twilights of their career aren't taking as many bumps, but they can sell, uh, poke to the eyes and go around the crowd and do 5 minutes into the match, 2 to 5 minutes into the match without the first offensive or defensive move ever happening, and the
Hmm.
crowd be just as into it as six super kicks and a 630 off the top rope.
Exactly. It's honestly, it's such a magical thing, and you got to have a keen eye for it. And I'm still learning, for sure, even with my confidence. That was actually one of my major struggles. That's why I feel like it took me so long to break out, was my confidence. You look at like my early promos, and they're just, I can't even watch them. Can't even watch them. Just so cringe. It hurts. Like, I actually tried the other night. 3 seconds in, I was like, nope, I can't do it. You know, um, Still a works in progress, I'll have to say. Uh, which is funny because I'm talking about Tori Wilson, how I just admired her for her confidence, whereas me, as Mylo, I'm still trying to figure that out.
No, and I think, obviously that's where it's like a complete and utter, like, taking from a particular inspiration versus
Hmm.
being inspired by such, where you can take little bits of that person and make it your own. Some people
Hmm.
just will just rip the definitive article and
Hmm.
run with that, and sometimes there's a shelf life to that. I remember in the Impact Wrestling or TNA where they had a group of, you had Jay Lethal as Black Machismo, you had Shark Boy as, Steve Austin and what have you.
Hmm.
Those are fun. Those are great, and
Hmm.
especially at that particular time of Shark Boy, he had toiled the Indies for 15 years. The injuries had, you know, pretty much amassed themselves in a way that he couldn't perceive, and it actually benefited him not to take as many bumps that he might have done,
Yeah.
and you got the pop. But were those going to be world champions?
Hmm.
you know so
For
kind of
sure.
so taking a bit from your inspiration and turning it into your own, I think that's that's it. They're like, what made Tori tick, that gave her that confidence? Was it something that she did? Was it her life for your wrestling? Was it just, her upbringing, or just that's just the way she is? And some people have it and some people don't, like,
Hmm.
and that's the thing. And in terms of learning, my dad thought, like, if you stop learning, you've got one foot in the grave, right? And what is the other thing that's going to put the other foot in there, right? You're almost dead, right? So
That's so true.
the evolution, right? And
Hmm.
maybe even seeing, right, like your promo today, not just the 2017 promo, but the promo today. 2 years from now, you're going to be cringing at the things now because you're going to be so far evolved because of trial and error. It's the antithesis of good vibes only. Sometimes fucking up can give you the biggest catalyst to be better than what you are.
That's true. There's some big fuck ups that I did, and I'm like, oh man, you just know never to do that again. So it's a learning experience for sure.
Hmm.
You live and you learn. Practice makes perfect. I can't wait until I'm like better than, what I am now. So,
Yeah, absolutely. But it's enjoying the journey, the little bits of knowledge and nuggets of wisdom that some people that have been in your position before, or tenured veterans that are kind of coming in for a shot, you know WWE or Impact Wrestling or New Japan
mhm,
guys and whatever, coming and disseminating information. Hey, you did this great. Here's where you could kind of tweak it and what have you, or just the way that you sound, right?
mhm,
The overall presentation. Like, you might be able to say these things as you, but it doesn't sound like the Milo that you're presenting to the world, right? It could be a
mhm,
miss. So maybe it's a talking softly, like a Jake Roberts, where you get the people to kind of tune in and
mhm,
to their TV sets or whatever device that they're watching you on, to
Mhm.
figure out what you're saying, right? And you've got them, right? Nobody
Mhm.
goes and then backs away. No, once you got them, where they're literally changing their body posture to what you to accommodate what you are doing or saying, that's pay dirt.
Oh, for sure. It's all about give and take. Man. Ah, wrestling.
Yeah, all wrestling.
Oh,
But
wrestling.
a non-wrestling deal. Big Mac wants to know: is it just me, or is Big Mac's getting smaller? I don't think I don't think it's you. They are getting smaller, and I don't think they might. I'm not entirely believe or convinced that they are of meat.
Maybe not, but there's still of some nutritional value, right?
There's lettuce. There's onions, right?
Yeah.
Pickles. Pickles used to be cucumbers, right? So I mean, there you
No,
go.
yeah, you're right. It's just doused in vinegar.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love this Mac talk. This is amazing.
Yeah. I'm just saying that's McMac for you. That's he's a good brother. Um, Now, in terms of people that maybe as a fan you didn't appreciate,
Hmm.
that now as a active and competing pro wrestler, that you gain a little bit of affinity to, that you might have grown your taste in terms of what you
Hmm.
saw in wrestling or what you want your wrestling to be, right?
Hmm.
Who are some people that you now appreciate that you might have not appreciated when you were watching Tori Wilson?
So, like back in the day, there's just little things like a lot of Rey Mysterio. He made every move count. And, I would, of course, watch all of it when I was a kid. But now, when I look back at old matches to try and see like what I can like pick, I'm like, oh man, he knew what he was doing. you know, Eddie Guerrero, just very
Oh.
in detail, like when he would come in for his comeback, he always made sure the heel came to him.
Mm-hmm.
He would never go, you know? Like that's still something when I'm like in my comeback, I'm like, "Oh, I'm ready. I'm going." Slowly
Mm-hmm.
take the time. Pace is everything. So that's something I'm definitely really like looking for now is how people pace themselves, how people like react to certain things and how long they take to react to certain things. So that's something I'm still learning to pick up on right now as well.
No, and
Um,
that I think that's great, right? To broaden your horizon because again, you might be in a different territory. And yes, I said territory. I'm dating myself, but you know, a territory where that kind of slower pace style works. That you're not going to bring the crowd over doing hurricanranas and planchas. Although
mhm,
that's exciting,
mhm,
you'll wow the crowd then, right? In one shot,
mhm,
but you won't be asked back by the promoter, right? So,
mhm,
but if you can kind of get into working different styles, different
mhm,
opponents, and that same comeback, what does that look like against somebody that's similar style, or maybe somebody that's bigger, maybe that's somebody smaller? Does it work? Like, and it's just little nuances that again, you lead to finding yourself as a persona. It leads to finding yourself as what you basically elect to
yeah,
the audience.
yeah, for sure. And uh, yeah, like I said, still figuring that out. I still feel pretty green, so I'm learning as I go.
No, absolutely. That's but aren't we all learning, right? No, there's always something, especially if you scour the interwebs or not. You might even just browse it, a quick flick of the thumb and whatever, and you're like, oh, I don't know that, and you're like,
Hmm.
and you go down these wonderful little wormholes that'll keep you up until 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm not speaking from personal experience. Maybe I am.
Just a friend that I know.
Yeah, that guy. Schmadam Hoods. Schmadam Hoods. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. McMack is saying that he's got a vendetta against McDonald's. They put cheese in it, so it's not classified as a dessert because of the sugar content. He's referring to Big
The
Macs.
Big Mac. Okay,
Wow.
man.
Yeah. Ugh.
Just for that, I'm gonna like have one of my next matches. I'm just gonna come out with eating a Big Mac for you, McMac. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
it. I will.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he'll gift the hell out of it. Right before we went on with after 83 weeks with Christy Olsen, Steve Kaufman, and Eric Bischoff
Uh huh.
yesterday, McMac, he saw the tweet and he goes, "Oh, don't forget your new theme song." And I don't know how he did it. He compiled like a laundry list of candid Eric Bischoff poses, some WCW stuff, some WWE Hall of Fame stuff, and he
Yeah.
was able to make Eric Bischoff look like Kenny Rogers,
Wow.
which I didn't think was possible.
So McMac is the man.
He's I mean, not to steal from Bateman, but I think he's the motherfucking man.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Love you, Bateman. You're awesome. He's a goddamn man. Hell yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bateman's a goddamn man.
Yeah.
McMac, yeah, he's a man.
Yeah. There you go. So do you have any favorite memories in training, making sounds, or anything that like you're like, fuck, this wouldn't happen in any other this doesn't happen if I worked behind a desk or what have you. Um, so only in wrestling. Uh, so I mean, you don't have to name names. This is not a shoot interview,
No,
yeah. But
yeah.
and to protect the innocent, the names remain nameless.
Okay.
But do you have any fun memories?
For sure. There's times, doing drills, blow up drills, where I'm like waiting for my turn to get in there. And I'm like, oh, I'm dying. And then something that helps me get through is I look around at everyone else who's feeling the same exact way I am. And then I also I disassociate sometimes, whatever, don't we all? Maybe.
Maybe.
And then I'm like, I'm in California right now doing something I've always wanted to do. I know I'm dying. I know these drills are just really freaking hard, but man, life's good.
Mhm.
Moments like that is something that really sticks out to me. Or, the drives. Driving when I have a booking in Arizona or Vegas, you're going through the desert and it's nothing. There's nothing. Sometimes I have to be like, hang on, what would 9-year-old Jenna, per
Mhm.
se, think about this? I'm driving from my home in California, not even Virginia anymore, to a wrestling event to showcase who I am and show people why I deserve to be on this scene. There's moments like that really just stick with me. And it just makes me feel like, okay, there's a reason I'm doing this. And it's because life comes in full circle.
Yeah, and perspective is everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you were, I know this might be the complete and total antithesis of Tori Wilson, but
Mm-hmm.
like the AWA with Vern Gagne in Minnesota, where he used to train guys out of the barn, guys like Ric
Mm-hmm.
Flair and Ricky
Mm-hmm.
Steamboat, and a litany of others, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they would literally do like in the cold, the Minnesota cold, right? Like 6 to 10 miles of jogging and whatever, and then get in the ring with Billy Robinson, where he proceeded to stretch them all 9 ways to Sunday, right? Billy Robinson, the old school Wigan catch wrestler and whatever, and and it's just like, yeah, I'm puking here in Belle Garden,
Yeah.
California, but
Yeah.
it's not that. Fuck yes.
Snow everywhere.
Yeah,
Icy run. Oh my gosh, I couldn't even imagine.
hell, I mean, Billy Robinson was so, I guess, I don't want to say vindictive, but that's what's coming to mind. But he,
Okay, yeah.
like that Iron Sheik. Iron Sheik was like, Billy, bad coach, fucking whatever. And this
Yeah.
is a guy who literally escaped the Shah of Iran, who's a bodyguard and arguably one of the greatest Iranian wrestlers of all time. And it's
Mhm.
like, fucking Billy Robinson, fuck that.
It's PTSD.
Yeah, I'm
You
just
know?
saying.
You like think about the time when you were like in that and you're like, oh man, but it builds you,
Hmm.
you know? Trainers always say, you'll thank me for this later.
Hmm.
You do.
Yeah,
You really do.
absolutely. When there's times or a particular spot happens, or even the change of weather. You were talking about making it down in Arizona. Man, it's a
Hmm.
hell of a lot drier than it is in California because being a desert. And those, you know, those burpees and shit, in those
No
Hindu spots.
AC.
Yeah, absolutely. Those work. I mean,
They
those.
do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah,
So weird how it works out like that, huh? You
yeah.
can't just sit on your couch and eat Big Macs all day. I wish that would benefit me.
You know what? There was a time in my life, especially when I started doing jujitsu, and I was like, and they're like, oh, maybe not eat such a heavy meal after you had people literally putting their knees on your fucking stomach and try to separate your limbs unceremoniously from it. Like maybe you
Okay,
should,
yeah.
whatever. Right? And I was like, fuck, all I want is a damn burger,
Yeah.
not a Big Mac, but
Yeah.
like an In and Out. Like we're in
Ooh.
California, folks. Like right?
Yeah.
And I was like, what if this damn vanilla shake tasted like a fucking In and Out burger, like a double double? And I actually contemplated doing like a food flavored protein shake, but I was like, mixing that shit with water might not work.
That would
Like,
be so good. But what about like mixing with oat milk?
oh, okay, mm, okay, ding
I
ding
don't
ding.
know. I also put like my Wendy's fries in my Frosty. Like I do weird stuff like that. That's why when you're
That's
like Brussels
normal.
sprouts on like Big Mac, I was like, hey, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I mean, you're a burger person and a wrestling person. Have you been to Grill 'Em All?
I haven't yet. What? Like who even am I? A
Oh,
phony. I'm a phony.
oh, okay.
I
That needs to happen
know.
because it's
Well, you
very
know what? I actually I would work merch for PCW and I did have their burger when they came to like sponsor.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I did have a burger. I don't remember which one I had, but I actually haven't been to the location yet. It's gonna happen. So
Yeah.
I actually live in Huntington Beach,
Okay.
which is funny. That's why when you said that, I was like, "Holy wait, you're coming from where
Yeah.
to
No.
here?"
Okay. So where my radio school was, for those who don't know, I'm old school radio guy from
Uh huh.
the early 2000s, but the BJ's right on Beach in Edinger. Right behind it is the Academy of Radio and Television Arts. That's where I went to school.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So it's still there, and it's so wild because like I mean I don't live in Inglewood now, but and
Mhm.
that will always be my hometown. But I was
Mhm.
going on a bus 4 hours each way from Inglewood to Huntington Beach, and I mean it was a fucking trek. So get up at like 4 in the morning, catch a 5 o'clock bus, right? The
Yeah.
40 to like the Green Line station, take the Green Line to Norwalk, and then the 460 that goes to Disneyland, but jump off at the right in front of Knott's Berry Farm in Buena Park, right? And
Mhm.
then take the Orange
Mhm.
County 6 all the way to whatever junior college is right opposite Beach in Edinger and what have you, and then walk from that college to the academy, which was about 2.5 miles. Yeah, and then they had a bus strike. They had a bus strike. LA had a MTA bus strike, so I couldn't do it anymore, and they charged me the full tuition of 20 G's and what have you. And I thought my
Man.
radio career was over, and then I got into jujitsu, and then that led into interviewing fighters, and then making pro wrestling shows and then MMA shows. And here we are,
Here we are.
15 years later.
Those 4 hours were worth it.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's something
Each way. Each so
each
like
way.
8 hours
Mhm.
altogether.
Yeah,
Just
so
wow.
I mean, leave at 5, like be at the bus stop at 5 to catch the 5 o'clock bus to get there at 9:45, right? And then basically get off at 6 and then get home maybe if I was lucky by midnight and have to do the same thing 5 hours from then.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Now that's dedication.
it's
Look,
something.
it paid out.
But that's I feel obviously I will never degrade an experience of like, oh, I know what you've gone through or whatever, because
Mhm,
everybody's
mhm,
situation is different. But like,
mhm.
if an MMA fighter is cutting weight and the weigh-ins are at 6 o'clock and a.m. and they live in San Diego, or 10 o'clock or whatever, and they have to leave at 6, no food in the stomach or whatever, or if it's a pro wrestler that is making it town, might be half a state away, and you might get a hot dog and a Coke and whatever. Like, I know those days, those fucking ramen noodles that you fucking you know ate dry,
So good.
on the bus,
Yep.
and chomped on it and fucking kept on going. When you could actually live, mid 30s, so the fucking metabolism isn't what it used to be. But there was a good 13-month period where I lived solely on Pop Tarts and Red Bulls. I don't condone that.
Yum.
I don't condone it, but it happened.
Hey, we all start somewhere, and that's just how to get by at the time. But
Mhm.
you know what? I understand.
Mhm.
I get it. I mean, you know what? Those days are over, and it all paid off. That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's hopefully.
Hmm.
I think it's Metallica that says nothing else matters. And I want to believe that they were talking about whatever dream that they had as young 20-something-year-old metalheads. That's
Yeah.
that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Speaking of, oh, it's kind of a hair deal because Metallica had hair. He thinks that Eric Bischoff should dye his hair black. He actually
The
in the
nostalgia.
Yeah, and and he actually decided to donate to a charity, a dog charity in Minnesota, where Eric Bischoff has ties to. That's something close to the heart, and he managed to say that he was going to donate $500 to the charity in Eric Bischoff's name if Eric dyed his hair. And I mean, how do you say motherfuck no without saying motherfuck no? You're gonna have to check it out on the After 83 Weeks YouTube podcast. But me doing it is, anything less will be uncivilized. So I'll let you hear it from the man himself.
Okay,
Yeah,
I can't wait.
yeah. And Mick Mac is also clowning on us. He's saying us here in the states, your cars are weird. The steering wheel is on the wrong side. Mind you, he's in
It
Australia.
is. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, they are on the wrong side. They should be in like the back seat, um, have our little kids drive, and they should do something for once.
The kids doing something for once.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Um, I used to have dreams that like I would be when I was a kid. I was
Hmm?
had dreams that I would be driving and like freak out because the steering wheel would be in the back seat. So that's the only reason why I said that. It just like brought me back.
No.
Man,
Well,
this is all nostalgia and
yeah, Nick Mac is full of nostalgia. That's what I'm going with. Um, no, and it's funny that you say that because there are many wormholes that I went down in the pandemic. Right? I
okay.
mean, a lot of time, some resources. I mean, 500 plus episodes of the podcast.
Hmm.
Bought a sauna. I live in an apartment.
Wow.
Two pugs, ever increasing Funko
Oh,
Pop collection.
yes.
Is shit got weird, is what I'm saying. All right.
Yeah.
So, but one I actually found on Alibaba for
Hmm.
$1,200, you can get a fully functioning car, and the steering wheel is in the middle. Like, think of a Power Wheels on roids, and it would be an
Okay.
EV vehicle as well. Yeah,
Oh,
I feel
twelve
like a
hundred.
1200. 1200 shipped from China to you, but the steering wheel would be in the middle because there wasn't much of a dash. So, yeah,
I don't hate that idea. You know,
let's see.
Be
Let me,
interesting.
let me see if I can actually. Yeah, I think
Yeah, pull
I
it
think
up.
I might have a picture. Yes, yes, it is here. So, with the powers of the internets, I think I have the Alibaba electric car for $1,200, and here we go. So yeah,
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
wow. Oh,
That's it. That's the one I was actually looking at, and there was when I went searching, there was also a YouTube link, and there was this guys from, funny enough, Virginia, that bought
wow.
it with the charging port. I think it was like $500 extra. So
Uh-huh.
they were in, in the hole in this investment for a YouTube video about $1,700, which, to put it in context, this motherfucker's dying trying to make good YouTube content. Scaling, you know, ledges that they shouldn't and fall down or whatever. So $1,700, not a bad deal. But they were popping wheelies with this white thingamajigger here, and I was like, yeah, man, I was I was entranced. I was like, yeah, and then I also got into like what is it, the tiny house, and I was like, I wonder if
Oh,
you can make one of
so cute.
those
Yeah.
into a tiny house. Like, how
Yeah.
would that look? It was weird. I got
I
weird.
was thinking about like living in a tiny house. I think it would be so good with wrestling. Like I could go anywhere. If I have a
Anywhere.
booking in Chicago, I'm like, all right, I'm on my way. Oh, wait. Yeah, my house is connected. I'm good. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
No, I mean, there are actually like a couple that I know, friends. That's what they've done is they're jujitsu competitors.
Hmm.
So they did the tiny home van life, the RV life, and whatever, and they're
Hmm.
basically going around training at different gyms, competing at paid jujitsu competitions, and that is how they make their living.
You're giving me too many ideas. I just moved into this place. I'm about to
I got a lease.
break my lease and get a tiny home. Man, it's hard when you got like Vegas and Arizona, then back to California.
Hmm.
Wouldn't be so hard with the tiny home.
No, no, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. McMax says, "Oh, pineapple makes the burger so refreshing." Oh, and for those that don't know, apparently Eric Bischoff likes his burgers not with cheese, not with any condiments. He's just like season the burger, put it on the patty, all killer no filler. So, uh,
Okay.
which we were also trying to convince Eric Bischoff the next time he comes out to go to Grill 'em All. So we'll see. Maybe we take both of
Oh,
you.
hey, let me know.
Yeah,
I'll come along. I like
yeah,
new friends,
yeah,
you know.
absolutely. Yeah, Eric Bischoff is a good friend. There's a lot of people that say a lot of bad things and unsavory things, but Eric Bischoff is actually a pretty good dude. He's a really good dude.
Seems
Yeah,
like it. I
yeah,
mean, very entertaining,
yeah.
very knowledgeable. So I will say that.
And says shit that other people wouldn't because he's not trying to get a job anywhere in wrestling.
Yeah. Well,
There's a difference. There's a difference
yes.
there. Yeah. And he says, "Wait, but they would have paid you fists of cash to work there." I'm not. I'm not sure. Maybe I missed the
Did we
addendum.
miss a chapter?
I think so. I think so. But he's like, should sit on the roof like Mr. Bean. I want to get a F100, but an 8-year-old one. They're no less than 100K here. Oh, the van life. There you go.
Okay. Oh, oh, oh,
Right.
oh,
And
oh,
that's not
oh.
a joke. That's not a joke. Yeah,
It is not a hilarious thing. It's not a joke.
it's not a joke. That he's straight. Micmac is straight shooting, brother. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean it could happen. Uh, Catch a bus 4 hours. Oh no. Oh, that wasn't a job. Oh, he's referencing my schooling. No, that was actually schooling. I actually paid to go there, and then I also paid to. I think it cost me like $12 a day in adjusted for inflation of 2003 to 2021. That's
Yeah.
at least like a quarter of a Bitcoin.
I don't understand any of that.
Yeah, 10 points.
Wrong person. I don't
Right on.
know.
Right on.
I don't know nothing about nothing.
Hey, you know what? If you can get a payoff in a Bitcoin rather than a hot dog and a soda, that might be a nice little nest egg. A nest egg that might perpetuate the van life mindset that you got.
Maybe.
Yeah. Instead of dollars, give me the virtual money that nobody can see.
Yeah, I just will never understand. So I'm just not gonna even try.
Okay.
Um, you know, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. So
I'm
I
gonna be like one of those old ladies who just doesn't get with the times, just like my grandmother with her flip phone.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that happens. But so
Yeah.
I have Sprint that ended up going to T-Mobile,
Hmm.
and I thought about doing that, and then they sent a nice little postcard, right? And they like suggest like, hey, we're cutting off service to phones beyond 2010. So if you still want service, like we're still gonna charge you the same. I almost feel like Milton in Office Space, right, where they fucking
Hmm.
just put that motherfucker in the basement, gave him an orange stapler, didn't pay him, and was
Yeah.
just like pushing him way out the fucking door, you know?
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so that was it. So they kindly suggested they're like, we're not, you're still good. It's not like we're going to sever ties or cancel your contract. No, your phone is just not going to work. But we're still pay. We'll still charge you.
Yeah.
So yeah. So flip phones, man, flip phones.
Flip phones.
Yeah, yeah. Um, which by the way, what has been your favorite cell phone design ever? Yeah, what?
Hmm. Cell phone design,
Mhm.
like
That you've seen or have had?
I always liked the Envy, but I never had one. I was always envious of my friends who had the Envy, but I
Did
never
you
had
get
one.
that?
It was the Envy 2, to be exact. It was the one that just flipped up and it was the keyboard. I always was jealous of my friends who had those, but
Well, I mean, theoretically speaking, you don't have to be jealous because I think $60 on eBay would secure you an NV2. I'm just,
oh man, could you imagine if I just fell off face of the earth? How would I keep up with my Instagram?
yeah,
Just kidding. I barely keep up with my Instagram. I need to be better. I actually need to be better at marketing on Instagram, like we were talking about earlier.
yeah,
But I feel like in today, like I would say I just get a lot like very anxious when I do go to post things. That's why my Instagram is very vague, minimalistic to the point. But like you said, that's how I have to market myself and get out there. So
yeah.
gotta get over it.
It happens, And for those who are inquiring about the envy that Milo spoke so fondly of, I think I have got a picture.
Oh yeah, let's
Uh,
see it.
is that it?
Oh
Oh,
yeah, I like the pink one, but yeah,
the pink one. Yes. I should have pulled up the pink one. I don't even think
that's
let's see.
it.
I think I can.
Yeah.
I think we can do something here. Nope, nope. Ah,
Ah, there
there
it
we go.
is.
There it
That's the one
is.
I wanted.
Yeah,
That is the one that 10th grade me wanted. So
yeah, yeah. Oh man, me in 10th grade. Again, I'm aging myself. We had to have a two-way pager, which had the keyboard, right? But
uh-huh.
when you texted people, you could only be no more than 100 feet away from that person. So it's like glorified
Wow.
walkie-talkies that you couldn't talk through, and that had
Wow.
an actual cell phone of like a Nokia type cell phone, and
Mhm.
that's how you got down Inglewood High School in the 10th grade.
Wow.
Yeah, uh, old as shit. Old
No,
as
you're not.
shit. Yeah,
No.
yeah. Oh,
What is
and
old anyway?
yeah, exactly. I mean, if Mick Jagger at damn near 80 is still 3 hour concerts and fucking getting an ass ton of money, fucking
Still
wiggling
got the
his,
moves.
just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
what is
sure.
that? What is that? And McMack says he misses the old Nokia 3310 and playing Snake on it is the best. That is the fucking shit. Yes, McMack.
Wow.
Yeah,
I never played, but I always watched my friends who would play. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And the N97 is also a wish list. I mean, McMac, DM the address. You might be getting one of those phones. I think I can get one on the cheap.
Maybe hopefully he was a good boy this year. Santa.
Dun,
Santa's
dun,
always
dun.
watching.
There you go. Santa Bishop, because Also, it could be one of the pictures did look a bit of Santa Claus. So let's see if we can get Eric Bischoff to send you a Nokia 3310. Let's see. Not promising anything, but just putting it out there. Um, in terms of wrestling that you're watching now, because I mean, once a fan, always a fan, even though you're in the business, right?
Mhm.
What are some of the stuff that you're watching now?
I watch a lot of AEW. I enjoy thoroughly AEW. You know what? I love the indie style. I love indie style wrestling. That's actually what I fell in love with after I started training. You know, it's just I love the over the top, the show up and show out. Like I
Yeah.
just love it, love it, love it. Um, I'm watching some of that. I actually keep up with a lot of old stuff. I've been trying to watch like I've been watching WCW actually. Um,
Really?
yeah, because I just want to see what they were doing back then that I could maybe incorporate today.
Hmm.
So that's what I've been doing as of late. Um, very entertaining. I actually, it's funny how some of the stuff still holds up to today,
Hmm.
regardless if it's 30 years old or I just, that's the magic of it, right?
Yeah, it almost remains timeless, right? And
Very.
rather than, you know, eight DDTs in a match,
Mm-hmm.
and a constant, almost transitionary move. If
Mm-hmm.
theoretically speaking, if Jake Roberts on the floor of the Boston Garden in
Mm-hmm.
Boston hook Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and literally drop him with a DDT and crack his skull,
Mm-hmm.
by God, that's a fucking finish.
That's a finish. That's a finish. If I ever did.
Yeah,
If I ever did see one, he's done.
yeah, that's it. Oh, Arn Anderson Spinebuster. And I say Arn Anderson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know if you notice, right? And this is where body types, I think, give little nuances to what the presentation ends up being. If you notice, like Matt Hardy, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he does the leg drop, he
Mm-hmm.
almost has like a wishbone, like he's boat legged almost, right? And
Mm-hmm.
his leg drops look like literally a wishbone,
Mm-hmm.
as it's dropping. Well, that's just the way that he is. Or if he, throws a punch, it's almost like he's walking on stilts, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Well, Arn Anderson has the same type of deal, right?
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
because of that, the torque that he would get on a spine buster is unlike anybody else's,
Mm-hmm.
because he shoots somebody off the rope, catch him, and do a full, almost, a 180 revolution and drop the motherfucker there. And that to me, I'm like, that's believable as shit. Like
Mm-hmm.
somebody throws me into the ropes, catches me. Oh shit! Is it a bear hug? Is it whatever? Right? And then
Mm-hmm.
drops me with my weight in theirs. And that's also something, kind of knowing, combat sports, other combat sports. Well, that's something if it happens in a jiu-jitsu competition or an MMA fight. Again, those are things. If somebody's head hits the mat, night night.
Yeah, for sure. Been a victim to that. Not fun. Comes with the biz.
The
Oh
business.
yeah.
Yeah. And Adam, did you ever buy Simon Dean's patented Simon system? No, I didn't, but I wanted a Segway like Simon Dean.
Ooh.
Do you remember this?
Segways?
Or Simon Dean?
Yes.
Y- You've heard of Simon Dean?
Yes.
Okay. So you remember how he used to do the Simon system and almost be like the infomercial, health food guru and everything like that. But the paradox I felt was like he also, like he's telling people to get in shape, whatever, but he
Hmm.
rides to the ring in a Segway, which is fucking
Hmm.
hilarious, right? It's a that trainer, do more push-ups, and then they're
Yeah.
kind of cut out to here. It's so great, so
Yeah.
great. But no, I did not. I didn't get it. I didn't. I was too busy
Ah.
around that time spending money getting to radio school. So
But maybe you can live it. Maybe you can live that dream soon. You know
I'm
what I
just saying, Simon
mean?
Dean, I'm coming for your system, which probably nobody has ever said. Now, Milo, obviously, you again, you have come a long way, and the reason why I say that, from the little 9-year-old girl that was watching with your mom in
Mhm.
Virginia,
Mhm.
you're eons, light years ahead of where that little girl thought her expectations were going to go. So, obviously, to get where you have been and are going, there have been a lot of people that have helped supported you both professionally and personally. So, take as long as you like. Let's get some shout outs out of the way.
Okay. Anyone?
Anyone?
I'll have to shout out my mom. I'm pretty sure she's the one who introduced me to wrestling. Um, if it wasn't for her, I just remember watching like wrestling with her. We would just be in bed watching Monday Night Raw, and she always had a big crush on Triple H. I always had a big crush on Edge. Beth Phoenix, don't come for me. I swear it was just a crush. I was only 9. I swear. um, uh, you know, all my friends who would let me play video games with them. And I have to say sorry to my friends who I would turn the PlayStation off when they would pick my character, but they should have known better. They totally should have known better. My trainers, of course, at Santino's and MPW like what would I do without the knowledge that they dropped? And uh I'd like to thank you for having me here. Thank you for, thinking I'm worthy enough. I honestly never thought I'd do a podcast anytime soon. Then when I saw my message request, I was like, oh, I could totally do a podcast. So I'm glad you're my first podcast. Um, thank my close friends in wrestling. I got Viva Van. She helps me very much. She guides me. She's started training a little before me, so she answers a lot of my questions that I have. I've got Vinny Wasco. I've got Jordan Cruz. I've got so many to name, like wrestling, you just build these like lifelong friends, and I love how we come together, and it just builds your community, and you know, just find solace in your friend group. I just love it.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's a community for sure.
It is, and it really does feel like family, I will say. And uh, yeah, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I'm glad that 9-year-old me figured out that's what I wanted to do. And like I said, I totally would fell off from wrestling like high schoolish, which is fine. That might have been probably a great time that it was going on, but I don't know why I fell off from it actually. I wouldn't say I grew out of it. I just wasn't watching it as much as I used to. And then coming back to Total Divas and falling in love with it again, going back to watching WWE and finding more with, AEW impacts. I don't even think like I ever saw myself expanding my viewing as I have. So it's just, it's a great journey, a great ride. I'm here for it.
No, 100%. It's a part of the ride. So it's amazing. And McMac, actually, I don't know if you know this, but Milo is the best Australian drink. Hey, we have it in Fiji too, McMac. So I think it's like a British Commonwealth thing. That do you know of the Milo? Milo?
I don't.
Oh, okay. So it's better. It's a chocolate drink.
I love
It's
chocolate.
yeah, but it's better than Nestle Quick. That's what I say.
Okay.
Like it's a breakfast drink and what have you. It's you know what? We'll talk off here. 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Heck
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
man.
know what? Are they gonna sponsor me? Like maybe.
Hey, you know what? That would be great because their parent company, I believe, is Kraft Foods, and that is a big conglomerate in itself. So if you can, I
Okay.
mean, hell, there was that wrestler. Oh, man, why am I blanking on his name? That he drank Pabst Ribbon, the beer, on his
Oh,
way to the ring.
PBR.
Yes,
Uh.
you know who I'm
Hmm.
talking about. Eric
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
and then they full on sponsored him.
For it was doing.
I'm just saying,
Oh
and
yeah.
yes, and it's so nice, hot and cold. Yes, you can
All
have it.
right. I'll
Hmm.
have to take your advice, McMac.
Yeah, it's good. I do concur. And Adam, I will send you the bill tonight for his phones. Got you. I got you, bro.
My guy.
But yes, but in terms of oh, do you know anyone in Fiji with the surname Ratu? Actually, Ratu is for those who are uninclined, Ratu is actually prince. So anybody that has a Ratu or Andi for a female is either prince or princess. So
Oh,
Ratu is like the chief. Like Ratu, like if
okay.
I were that a claim, I would
Hmm.
be Ratu Woods, right? You would be, Andy Milo,
Hmm.
right? Which sounds like anti Milo, which doesn't have the same appeal, but you kind of see where I'm going there.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
picking up what you're laying down.
yeah. Just saying. Uh, but speaking of picking up all things Milo, for people who want to get more from you and see what you're doing and all the shows that you're working coming up, especially as we enter the new year, where can they find all that on the interwebs?
I'm working on a YouTube. I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I may be, millennial, but like I'm pretty old soul. So I did make a YouTube channel. I'm working on adding videos, but I when I add videos, it's like this is going to be copyrighted. And I'm like, oh, what does that mean? So I have to delete it, figure out how to uncopyright it. So it's a works in progress, but it's coming along. My YouTube, I believe, is Mac Daddy Mylo. Like I said, I'm still kind of new to this, but I will be better at posting more content on my Instagram at Mac Daddy and Twitter. Twitter is a really good social network, and I just need to get on it. So I will be getting on that
There you go.
soon.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's Mac. Is it Mac Daddy on Instagram, YouTube,
Yes.
and Twitter?
Twitter is Mac Daddy Mylo. I'll
Okay.
have to write these out for you. I'll
Okay.
have to.
Well, I'm pretty sure I follow you, which I encourage everyone to do. But yeah, I'm just saying, Milo, you're awesome. Thank you for
Thank
doing
you.
this. Yeah,
Of course. Thank you for having me. I loved our talks. And I might go to McDonald's and get a Big Mac. Who knows?
see what
I
you
bet
done.
it have to happen.
See what you done did, McMac. There you go. But obviously, thank you guys for watching us here at According to Woods. And if you haven't already done so, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Obviously, Milo, you're subscribed to the podcast, aren't you?
Of course. What? I was probably your first subscriber. Wow.
Yeah, way back in the day. Way back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I already knew like then. So. Mhm.
Hmm. So I don't think there gets a better endorsement than that. So if you don't believe me, you don't believe Milo, and I don't know why you wouldn't. There's another pro wrestler that you might be able to be convinced by, Zeta Zang.